don't underestimate Eric Crawford. I think we have been doing that for the longest while, but continue.
But
Yeah,
but
I
rent
don't.
girl,
Hold on,
rent girl, hold on, stick up in rent girl.
let her learn, Marcia. Let Bridget, sorry. Let her learn.
What may I say is, by her not putting in any form of anything in writing state, I wish to continue. Writing to state, I wish to not, because it's her letting them know she wish not to continue her contract based on the notion she wrote it, based on the notion she was told point blank that listen, your contract now gonna renew, so it makes sense, you're right. Those reasons won't apply, because the perception would be given based on what she wrote to them that she didn't want to continue. It's
So
when
do you
people
believe that she wrote to them that she didn't want to continue?
How else would her contract will expire?
Well,
What if
I
they told her
don't
that
think
they
she
will
did,
not
though.
renew it though? Even if she
I wanted to ask
did.
rent girl something. Because something is wrong right there, rent girl. Because Miss Tamika or Miss Prince is supposed to be a learned person, right? And if my contract is up and somebody's gonna tell me no, don't apply because it won't be renewed, she should have applied and let them put it in black and white.
And that's what I am thinking. She should, you know what I am thinking, and maybe we have to look at it the next way as
That's why,
well.
Range. Well,
Go ahead.
let me just say this. This is why I kind of disagree with what you said, right? Because she, as a learned person, needs to understand the law, which will help her to defend herself.
Exactly.
Because Vegas just read out a number of things in which they are not able to renew your contract.
Right.
And they might go just tell us, no reapply.
Renew it. And you just not renew it and go about your business.
One thing I have learned, let me just finish, please. One thing I have learned working in any organization, you see this thing called CYA, cover your ass. It is very important, and you do that through documentation. You document everything. Nobody can tell me, a big old director of public prosecution, say me no fi reapply for the job and me don't reapply if I don't want it. Tell me, I can challenge you in the court afterwards for you to provide the proof on any one of those clauses that were mentioned that I did not fulfill any one of these.
But that is why I am saying, Shika, why is it? And this is what me say she went wrong.
Hold on a second. No, don't bother the PNP them, not the box, Allow the PNP them, let them have them say.
What me think she went wrong though, Shika, regardless of whosoever said to her and it holds merit, she should have still reapply. Because I can tell you, if it was justice,
girl,
she should have her position. You see her position. Her position is not a simple position.
Exactly.
You see Paula Llewellyn? I love Paula.
Bam!
I love Paula.
Yeah, Paula, then you go take a sit down.
Paula tell you. Paula Llewellyn tell you, say me ugly already. You can't tell me nothing more. My back thick like crocodile skin. You can't tell me nothing more. Right? So you, as a director of corruption prosecution, you know the law more than any one of them, man, because they came in parliament and this one of them say X, this one I say Z, this one I say Y. That means you put in that, but none of them have gotten that position, right? So you if you stand up on your 2 foot now as a bad girl and show them say, yo, me in a this and my contract.
Shika, what me think of going in that workplace is gang.
Yes,
but that even give more. That even strengthens Lashika and Bridget argument in already.
Me tell you, look at the demeanor Pantan. You think somebody could have looked on Pantan and even great
tell him more.
It don't make sense to reapply because you're not
in them youth.
Can I say something?
One second, Marcia. One second, Bridget. I'm Marcia. 1 second. Yeah, man. Give thanks to tapping up the screen. I never even tell enough to tap it up. I want to tap it up. What, 50,000 likes already. Make we can't got 100 people. Me like coming out to tell no. I want to know, say, we want this to be the #1 page by the election because so anybody can come host it. Our platform, this. See? So give thanks to tapping it up.
From Blue Day, April 29th.
And Blue Day, oh yeah, as the people come along, we're inviting you to join us in celebrating the Jamaica Constabulary Force on the 29th of April. We're gonna be all blue. We're going blue and blue and blue. Everybody, they must put a blue logo, blue picture, turn your page blue, wear something blue to support the Jamaica Constabulary Force because we are standing with the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Zane, so remember, Blue Day is April 29th. We're going to let the Jamaica for Justice know that we support our police officers. All right? Big up. Thanks to the top up on the screen. Go ahead. Marcia did that.
Marcia.
Go, Marcia.
But wasn't she pressured? In other words, she was told. So even if she was to reapply, she was told by them, which I agree with her, not to reapply because she knows what's going to happen.
No, Marcia, no.
But she should have reapplied. I'll show them up.
Even if you're not going to reinstate.
Yeah, man, let me see it.
Marcia, let me ask you this
That's
question.
all we're saying, Marcia.
We have all worked
I don't care. You're not gonna reinstate me. Fine. You write me and let me put it on my file.
Let me have that on my resume.
Exactly.
On our file, Marcia.
Yes.
Yeah.
A woman of her caliber.
Yeah.
Right?
Crazy.
Where is her evidence to show that I reapplied and I was denied?
But how do you know? This is what we're
Assuming.
How do you
Yes,
know
we are
exactly?
assuming because this is what we were told, so we're speaking from a point of
That's what I'm saying,
assumption.
But we can't. We can only assume. And
No,
that's not-
Marcia, what is the question you're asking if we're assuming?
I'm saying that.
They didn't turn her down.
Allegedly.
No. She did not. It was stated. Nationwide confirmed that
Nationwide of the evidence.
Yeah, they confirmed she didn't apply.
Nationwide just don't.
And they
No, she
also
had was to take her
stated.
vacation. She had was to take her vacation.
Nationwide.
She had was to take it.
Marcia, I am leading
You don't have to take it. Me
I am
working
leading
at that. Me
organization
next to this,
already.
we go run, go take one
One
vacation.
second.
Because you don't want it here in the last couple of days. Because you know what they do you wrong.
I am leading.
vacation because her
One
contract
second.
is on.
One second, Marcia. I want thing. Me glad how somebody pointed out Paula and Llewellyn in the while. You say if a Paula and Llewellyn, them have to jog her out there.
You know, see.
Them have to pop out her ear out of that.
Yeah,
Paula
and provide the evidence.
I want you to
Provide the
understand
evidence.
how significant this is based on what type of career this woman has. I want you to understand that this is not a good look on her career.
Not
I want you
like-
to understand.
But it best she does that then because that
What?
they-
Do what?
and then deny it best because like I said, as you rightly said,
No,
Hold
this
on
is
a
worse.
second.
Miss Marcia. Hold on, Miss Marcia, hold on. This is worse than them denying her, Miss Marcia. In other words, this is technically a firing without she even contesting it.
No, you're wrong there because if she had reapplied and they said no, that is firing her. That is fire. So that would have been worse.
But Marcia,
No.
contract work, especially those type of work, do not hold the merit as a regular permanent
Doesn't
job.
matter. But he just mentioned it's gonna be on her record. So
Yeah, it gonna no, but you're not understanding, Marcia. You're not understanding what you're saying.
Yeah.
Based on
We almost have said the same thing, but you miss a key point.
miss a point.
I
What
know.
we are saying.
Listen what I say, Marcia. Listen what I say. Go ahead, Red.
We are saying, you know, her contract not being renewed, as in she made the request and it being turned down, won't affect her record in the view as you put it.
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, you said it would have, if they not renew it, then it would have been in terms of
Can I
firing.
explain myself?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I
All right,
explain
go
myself?
ahead.
So Vega said that it would be it would have better for her to reapply and let it be said, because that would look worse on her resume now that she didn't reapply. And I'm saying the opposite of that. I am saying that no, don't give them the benefit to put that on your resume. She walks away. So on her resume right now, she did not renew the contract. She walks away. So there is nothing on her resume than if she had reapplied and they turned her down, then they would have said that would be on her resume.
Marcia, what is it being discussed now? What is the main reason this issue is being discussed now?
Let me explain something, Sister Marcia. All right, the Integrity Commission Act, right? Section 30, subsection 9 and 10, right? What happened in her situation, she cannot question anything now because you were going. You say she did apply, and them say no, these would have been our questions.
Correct. But
One.
Sorry,
Listen,
hold on.
sister,
Sorry, just let me give you this part. Hang on.
Yeah,
Sorry
go
about that.
Go ahead.
They have to give her a reason. They have to give her, and she have that reason why they told her that they're not renewing her contract.
Is it
No,
documented?
Marcia,
Is it
that's why
documented?
I asked you the question. No, that's why I asked you the question. Why is it's being debated now and question is being asked? Because she was not told at no point why is it that she should not contemplate to send in a request for an extension. And we are saying she would have received answers or closure if she had sent in the request for an extension, because then they would have to give her a reason as to why her contract is.
Marcia, a question. Marcia.
Well, and Bridget, let me just say this to Arense. Let me just say this. Also, in her case, and this is what I've been saying, she can challenge any one of those reasons, right? So you see the reasons what Vega listed a while ago, she could have challenged it and said, where is the evidence? Remember say lawyers we are dealing with, right? She knew about case law. She knew about all these things. So if she had reapplied, as Ren said, she would have gotten a conclusion or a reason why they're not renewing her contract. Precisely. But she just hear some long seed man just say no reapply, and she no reapply. And that right? is based on what we're hearing in the media. But if she got it and them say, all right, for one of the reasons them say, okay, you misbehaved.
Right. In other words, Miss Marcia, let me explain this to you. This I will cover you. When you apply, right? If she had applied for the position and them said no, then she could have followed up with which one of these subsection did I not qualify under. So was it because I said the Governor General may, acting on recommendation of the Commission, terminate the appointment of a director for the inability of the director to discharge the function of his office. Was she unable to discharge the function of the office? No, the applicant said, why? How? Why? Whether arising from infirmity of body or mind. That means they are going to quote it.
They are going to quote it. So they are going to list when them said that. When them said that.
Something.
I like the point where you just make a while ago. Right? Inability to discharge our duties.
Our functions.
They are going our functions, right? They are going to say on XYZ, case this, case that, on that day, right? They in this case, them have to provide you with them something there, and you can challenge it, right? There is no evidence to this.
She leaving now, make it easier for them not to give an answer.
Bridget, go ahead, Bridget.
Me want to ask Marcia a question. Marcia, as a learned person, and you in a sensitive job like that, and your contract is up, and the boss just call you, the boss don't know your intention, but the boss just call you and say, Marcia, do not reapply for this position.
That's not what. Okay, can I say something?
No, me not finish, Marcia, man. Wouldn't that trigger something in your mind as no, man? So, my boss just tell me not to reapply. Did I do something wrong? Because all along on my 5 years, I wasn't getting any, my appraisals was good and all of that. So you want to clear your mind going into another job that you can't even use if something was wrong, that to help to correct yourself if you're to move on. But if you would just say somebody say don't have to reapply,
And you just not do it.
check up your
Just go on
bag.
vacation.
Can I answer now?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, if my boss gonna call me, my contract comes up for renewal. He's not supposed to be calling me. I'm supposed to be going into him. If he calls me in his office and said to me, do not reapply, that is pressure number one. That is pressure immediately that your boss is saying to you, no, do not, me not give you back. Indirectly, he's saying to her, me not give you back the job. So
And you know, and stick up in my
Let her finish. Bishop, let her finish first. Let her finish. Hold on, sister, hold on. No, man, don't make her lose her chain of task, man. Let her
No,
finish.
she's not losing. Moreover, it's a government job. It's not private. That means that it's not Great Christie paying her. Go ahead.
doesn't matter. This is even
No,
worse.
that matters.
Make her go ahead, master. Go ahead.
It is
Where's
even
Marcia?
worse because if my boss calls me in the office and says that, you know, your contract comes up for renewal, I am telling you not to reapply for it. That is pressuring me. That is pressure. And that was what was alleged, that she was pressured not to reapply. Now, if she sits in that office with him, the first question she's going to ask him, why is it that I'm not to reapply for the position? Because he is pressuring her immediately to say, do not reapply for this position. The question she asked him, why is it that I should not apply for the position? So she must have gotten something from him, why in the end she decided to do that. Remember,
Marcia, and we keep telling you, don't
And
know.
that
Nothing
way I
was
miss now,
given
sister.
to her.
That way I
That's what
miss
we
now.
are
Well, listen,
saying.
listen, Marcia, listen.
hold on, just let me
Marcia,
finish.
hold on, we hear what you say, man. But based on what you're saying, what came out so far is that none of what you're saying happened.
It came out. It says that
What?
she was pressured. It was alleged that she was
And
pressured
and
not
she
to-
was pressured not to reapply. Did they tell her why she's not to reapply?
But that's what I just said to you. I said, if my boss called me in the office, he's not supposed to be calling me. I am the one supposed to be going into an office with him with my new contract. I would have scheduled an appointment and go into his office to say this is my new contract. You
don't have to do that. You
just
can
speak?
simply send an email or so.
No.
Marcia, hold on, Marcia.
you
Hold on, Marcia. You're misunderstanding.
No,
You
you-
are supposed. Hold on, Marcia. You're supposed to write to show your intent to continue, and then they will give you the contract, whether or not they are going to accept your intent to extend.
They would have sent their
Let me ask a question. Let me
Hold on,
ask a question.
hold on. Let me
Go
say
ahead.
something. You know what we are missing from this? And this is why they have the power to do it. The law itself says these commissioners will do the re-employment. Right? So they have them, the same long seed man, them we call her in the meeting and tell her say no reapply. And them same one would have to renew her contract. So them literally just say, no bother waste your time.
Because it's acting on the recommendation of the commission.
Acting on the recommendation.
Exactly, that's what I said. She was pressured.
Right, so that we've been a say. So hold on. So then
Yes,
tell her,
Marcia,
alright.
she was pressured and she wasn't told why they are
Right,
pressuring her.
so
Are you
what
crazy?
happened?
She was pressured and she wasn't told why they are pressuring her not to apply for an extension.
But Renz, they told her based on the information that we have, they said she never act accordingly to the
And
Prime
that's what I
Minister.
wanted to say.
No. It's not. No, hold on, Marcia. Hold on. That statement was based on a third party, assuming.
Oh my God. All right, I'm going to read it. Listen to
No,
me.
It was not.
that was not reported from Nationwide.
Let me just make this.
Chica,
You
it's the
guys
source
just
that.
said, hold on a second. You guys just said this is a woman of highly intelligence, right? She would have known don't underestimate her. She's a lawyer. She's on top of her game, and she would not just walk away like that without something else was happening there. There is no way she should have just said something who knows contract law.
But that we hear, Marcia, that we hear should do.
Marcia, do you understand the reason the parliament asks the chairman to look into her? The reason the parliament wrote to chairman stating to look into her being pressured to leave was the fact that no reason was given to her.
My
Give me
dear.
one second. Remember, we're going to 100,000 likes, people. Also, that box you see right up there in that corner is a PNP box. I reserve it for a PNP. All right? So, you know, say a phone box that in that corner. Nobody now sit down now on the box. All right? It's a PNP box. You see what I write? I write on it. PNP. Zin? No, nobody can touch it. Yeah? Go ahead.
Yeah, man. When I request and follow them. Send two of them. Send bread.
Yeah. It's a PMP box. Yeah. I may have AC and popcorn and kind of sit in and sit down and wait for you. Go ahead. Miss Goody.
Yeah.
Why are you so quiet? What you think about the situation, Elaine?
No, man, me I listen and me I do something at the same time. But
Okay.
for somebody who in a public service, let me tell you, you could have been the brightest. You could have, as she can say, she should have been a bad girl, and not everybody a bad girl like me and Paula Lewin. And when the powers that be in any organization ready for gang up on you, you have to be strong and firm. So they ganged her, they bullied her, and knowing what she knew, because she knew more than how we know. And I'm assuming knowing what she knew, she sat and evaluated and said, is this worth it? Is it really worth it? Is it really worth the fight? And she said no. So she just step away. Because remember, PNP is a cult. They not like women. And your back have to brad, you have to walk with steel on your back. With steel pegging it to ward them off. And she don't get that type of energy. So they forced her out of her job. And Marcel, to correct something that you said, she's on a contract. You, the employee on a contract, should not be approaching your employer your renewal.
It was still active though.
Yeah, you're right. She's on a contract with them. You're right.
Them business that.
Yeah, you're right about that.
I just believe that she evaluate and she said, this not worth it. This not worth the fight. And that is why a lot of people stay out of politics, because politics can be a dog fight. You have to have some real. You don't know what me I try to say. I mean, just believe that she just say this was not worth it, and she step away. Greg Christie is an old dinosaur. Seymour Panton. Can you imagine Mumala Shikemi and Dayton Campbell attack the woman? Can you imagine? She does not.
Goody, I wanted to add something to that, Goody. Say,
yeah.
Say the money that the $700,000 day. Say she not fighting back and them collecting, or she say them in some little dirty things. And it took me back to the money.
The one the man get robbed?
The one where the man get robbed. Right? She know. So she as good as she just say, oh, this not worth it. It might cost me
That's that question.
And that's what I said earlier too. Well, on the because as I said earlier, she know the environment that she's in. She know she's in a very toxic environment.
Yeah.
And know say to me, as some look as I will call them long seed, as some bullying and go on, and look like the environment is nasty.
When she felt threatened.
All that too much.
Yeah.
She knows say if she put in, she submit a request, it go lead to whatever, and then she have to face them every day.
Because Renz, look at Paula. Paula never give up. Paula say, you can't move me. It is not right. You get what I say, but as Goody say, and it is something that I've been processing for a while now, right? That she know, and let me go a step further. Remember, say none of the IC commissioners, them, no submit the declaration, Them no, they are not audited, by the Integrity Commission, So you see that 700,000 cash there, where the man fail figure report.
When I get monthly, a monthly or weekly.
Fail figure report.
Allegedly.
No, the police said, and Seymour Pantan said it was transaction
Allegedly.
that he would get it. It can't be alleged when Pantan said it. He said it in Parliament.
Let me just hold on. Let me just land, please. Don't make me lose my train of my thought. Them are not being audited, right? So it opens the door for any game. Good remember saying, your friend X, Y, and Z and tell you say up the toxic, goodie. We can see it from a distance. I don't know if you don't pick up what me I try say.
We pick
right?
it up, man. We pick it up.
She give up. She basically give up and she
just say
She did not give up.
She just say my life. My life is worth more.
She give up. I feel that she gave up.
She did not give up. She came out winning. By she walking away and not signing that contract, she came
Miss
out
Marcia,
in my books. I'm gonna hold it. She came out winning. Yup.
Miss Marcia, now she'll leave people to think that she did not do her work properly.
No, she came out winning. No,
man, it looked like she was inept in her duty, man.
No.
What you say?
When it is not when it is known that she's forced out.
Exactly. No, she came out winning because they forced her out. If she had signed the contract and gone
the reason I want, all right, when a company wants to get rid of employee, not because they're not their work.
Yeah, like a conflict in Marcia.
No,
go ahead, Marcia, go ahead.
Not necessarily so, because they want to replace you. Some of the time, which is in this case, that's what happened. It's not because of dereliction of duty. Sometimes because they want to replace you.
Why, Miss Marcia? Why?
For whatever reason, in this case, because they know what they're doing. They know what they want to do. They know what they want.
I am the Integrity Commissioner, Miss Marcia. I will push back at you. Let's say me fire you. Let's say me not renew your contract. Right? Me come to you and say, Miss Marcia, me not renew your contract, And you just say, all right. And you pack your bags and you go. Right? Everybody has speculated and say, why they not renew Miss Marcia contract? I wonder if she thief something.
No. Number one, they have a right to or not to renew. So that's number one. That's number one.
Why you're not to.
Pardon me?
You must give a reason why you don't.
No, they don't have to give a reason. They don't have to give a reason.
But you see what happens? You see what happens in Miss Marcia?
They don't have to give a reason.
Marcia, Vegas just read out the reason why you have to.
They don't have to give a reason if they don't want to renew your contract. In this case, because she was pressured.
No, ma.
Hold on. Winner. Go ahead.
Under the Integrity Commission Act, all directors have the opportunity for renewal. The commissioners have the opportunity for renewal. The law said.
The directors. He was right. The directors.
The directors. The law says they have the opportunity to reapply. If that was taken from her by a senior director saying nobody apply because you now get it. A waste of time. That means her right under the Integrity Commission Act was breached.
Well, because they put it, but normally in any unless they put that in there in the contract or in this report. Hold on a
That's what
second.
the law
In
says.
here,
That-
just
Miss
law,
Marcia, Miss
Come
Marcia,
on,
the
can you
law.
just let me explain, guys? Because
No,
you keep
I am
talking.
telling you what the
No,
law
but just let me
says.
finish.
Make she go ahead. Make she go ahead. Make she go ahead. Make she go ahead.
Make she finish.
Go ahead.
Make she
Go ahead.
finish.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Please,
Go
guys.
ahead. sis. Go ahead. Go ahead.
What I'm trying to say here is that because it's in their law to say that they have to, she has the first right to apply for it. They make stipulation, but in contracts outside of this one, they don't have to give a reason if it's not there. That's
But
all
we're
I
not
was trying
talking
to
about
say.
outside. We're talking about the
Come on, friends. We are just talking overall too.
Yeah, let me say this. It's like I basically, I worked under contract for a company, right? And when the time came, when my contract was up, well, I was even still working, but when my contract was up, right, I had to submit to that company and reasons for them to renew me, right? And what they did, they took my reason, but they also
100 life. Let me just say something there. 100 life. Hold on. You see the people them in the chat who are instigate war and them something there. Mute the 100 life a little bit, please.
Who would do that? Who would do
You see
that?
the
Come
people
on,
them
people. We're
who
not
are
depend on that.
instigate war and them something there.
Yeah.
We not depend that. I mean, I go mute on you for that of the case.
Yeah, man. Another type of platform, the people. Sorry. Another type of platform.
We
there.
not depend this. I know
Yeah.
that we depend today.
No, do that something when you come over here, please. None of that. We not fight over no politics. Tap it. We never say Andrew Holness a PJ 90th birthday party. You know that, man?
Me soon, so I just chill out.
Exactly, we chill out, man.
I go mute on.
all right.
Yeah, go ahead, Andre.
Yeah, so me I say is that I had to submit my reason to get back employed by the company, right? But them took my thing and them evaluate it and see if me reach them standard or them new standards going forward, right? I eventually did reach it and then they give back me. But that is a contract situation. If you know, say a contract employee is different from an employee that work for a company, right? However, in this situation, me know say people are say and she say like the guy said to her say you should not do it, right? It does say to me is personally like say it does leave a lot of room for she to come communicate like what happened there. At least we can speculate and say this A happened and Z Y. But when me think say if somebody got said to you say don't reply, there has to be a follow-up for somebody to say them things. They say like, don't apply for a new contract. There is a follow-up conversation that follows prior to someone saying that you can go either in a positive like, and we good you say, we kind of would probably lean more towards that, like so she no make out of the Z. Sometimes the fight no worth it. She can look on herself as a educated, her CV is good, as a very educated individual and her CV is good, and she can question whether or not she will continue in this organization and continue to fight. Because it's easy if you get up every day to go in our environment where you're not comfortable with, right? I've been there. Right?
Can I add something?
If that were the case, 1 second though. If that were the case, why did she resign earlier?
Her contract expired on the 24th of March 2025. And she went into a meeting on the 14th of March 2025. And by the 16th of March 2025, her post was being advertised. That means Prince. Hold on. That means for all intention, Prince Kamika had full intention of continuing
her job.
Therefore,
you missed that, you know, Marcia, you missed that, you know.
What?
Something drastic.
Look at winner, listen to winner, say it again, winner, say it again.
I heard it.
I think we missed that.
So
But that's what I said.
Listen to Marcia, listen.
Her contract expires on the 24th of March 2025. She went into a meeting on the 14th of March 2025, and then her post was advertised on the 16th of March 2025. It means that something drastic has changed during that course of that meeting, because all intents and purpose, she was willing to continue her
to serve.
But I said that.
Something changed with the organization and how they viewed her.
And
They
this
didn't have any problem with her, no. But all of a sudden, in that meeting, something changed.
And this is why she had was to use up her vacation. That's why she went
So
on
Miss
vacation.
Marcia, let me ask you a question. Based on what I'm just saying, no, Miss Marcia, based on what I'm just saying, let me ask you a question though. If you are in a company and you you intended to get your contract renewed, and somebody come to you days before you renew your contract after writing your whatever, your application, and say, yo, nobody apply, what do you do in that situation?
I would not. You're being pressured. You're being told not to reapply for the position. I would have asked them. I would have asked them. And I think she did. I think she sat with them and she talked with them.
Would you ask for it in writing?
They would not give in writing. Well, I don't know. Yes, they might have. We don't know. So
that's the point we're arguing. You see, we come back as now. That at the point we argue, and you don't know. But based on what came out, that not happened. Because if that had been the case, they would have now have to answer to her. Let's say it's libelous. They would have to answer to her on what grounds did they not renew.
They would have to give her a notification. They can't just tell her. They'll have to give notification to say, we're not renewing your contract this time. Unless they said to her, whatever. But my position on this, she came out stronger than if she was to go into a fight like that with them.
No, we're not saying to go into a fight. What we're arguing is, based on what we've heard so far, there is nothing to document that they denied her the position or told her not to renew because
but they
of
told her, but based on what you're hearing.
No,
Marcia, she was never told. What is the reason you hear? What is the reason you hear?
Breaking news.
What is the reason you hear?
They told her not to reapply.
Why?
For whatever reason.
That is what I'm saying. What is whatever reason?
They told her not to reapply. No, she would have asked them. From once they told her that, it's like she been pressured, she been bombarded.
And we're telling you, Marcia, she was never told why she should not contemplate.
Based on the leaks that come out, Miss Marcia. Based on the leaks
she was never told. We're not talking about just written to her. They never write to her. They never verbally tell her. They don't say no matter think. Me put in a layman term. Then I say, yo, no matter think if you come back, come reapply, no, you not get to work. And much chances are she asks, and they wish not to say. Why not?
Hold on a second. Why do people always think that we all have to agree on something? My dear age 76, let me tell you.
Miss Marcia, stop reading. Miss Marcia, you know better than that. Miss Marcia, you know better than that.
We not say if you agree. The only thing we are trying to make you know because you didn't realize.
No, not you, Renz. Not you, Renz. Come and share with that.
Hold on to it.
No, Marcia, what we are let you know, because you're under the impression that she was told, right, verbally, informally, whatever. She was never told.
It is so outrageous. It is so outrageous. So Miss Marcia can't believe that.
Why?
She was told not to reapply for it, and I think
she was never told.
What do you mean in the position?
She was told not to reapply for the position.
Let's move from here because we're going in a circle. Winner.
That's what they told her.
Where did one read from the profile, Winner?
That how long he has been working at the Integrity Commission. He has been working there since 2022, in the Office of the Director of Corruption and Prosecution.
Yeah, me said earlier on.
Let me
preface the whole thing.
So,
yeah. Let me read it for the sake of the audience, because enough people over there. Mr. Lawrence, the Director of Corruption and Prosecution, is a skilled and dedicated prosecutor with over 10 years of experience in criminal practice procedure and a total of 15 years professional experience. He's a graduate of blah, 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 blah. Mr. Lawrence, legal career, blah, blah, blah. Says, Mr. Lawrence began his legal career as a clerk of courts for the parish of St. Catherine. Whilst there, he honed his prosecutorial advocacy skills by successfully litigating a wide array of complex cases to include but not limited to corruption offenses, fraud, sexual offenses, and other crimes. After doing a 5-year bid in the parish court, Mr. Lawrence transitioned into the office of the Director of Public Prosecution as a Crown Counsel, where he prosecuted and argued appeals in the Supreme Court, Gun Court, and Court of Appeal, respectively. Mr. Lawrence hold the master law, blah, 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 blah. This advance, boom, 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 bam. So to say here, let me see. This advanced degree has equipped him with the deep understanding of international and comparative law, corporate law, and governance, and other legal disciplines that allows him to navigate complex legal issues. His background in both practical and academic legal frameworks has enabled him to contribute to the development of policies, protocols, and practices of corruption prosecution division, where he has served as a division's senior prosecutor from July 2022.
And I'm going to give another final answer. That is why Tamika was asked not to reapply.
Forgive the money our job.
Thank you. That's it.
And when I look at when I look at what Dayton Campbell said out of his mouth, when I looked at when the first time, I think it was September 2023, when Mark Golding was on a stage and saying, "Who are the illicit six? Who are illicit six?" And he for the first time he said to Andrew Holness, "Are you one of them?" Imagine.
Imagine what I would want, you know.
Allow me to go ahead. Yeah.
What I would want is
no, let him finish. Let him finish. Come on, him that says something important. Let him finish.
No. Imagine the opposition leader asking the prime minister, "Are you one of the illicit six?" Him asked, you know. Then you have Dayton Campbell making a prediction, and within 24 hours, bam, report job. You had Julian Robinson also make a prediction for September 2024 about report dropping in September.
An election.
Bam. They drop. And to know now that such person has been working in the Director of Corruption and Prosecution Office since 2022. I don't know what my brain is supposed to be telling me, man.
But we're not.
Go ahead, Lashika. No, let Lashika go ahead. Lashika was saying something, please. Sir.
2022.
I just wanted to see if we could have compared both of them, Prince Kamika and Lawrence resume. I think Prince Kamika should be on LinkedIn, and we should be able to pull it up as well to see what her experiences and qualifications are like. Just to get a little background. That was kind of...
And let me say,
anybody can pull up.
Let me just want to confirm something. Winner, you're saying he has been with the Integrity Commission since 2022?
Yeah, that's what profile said.
So that me and notice the timeline 20 since them start attack the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister 2020.
Wasn't he?
No, 2022.
2022?
Yeah, 2020. Can remember he won in 2021. Mark Golding would have been
2021. We won 2020.
So Prince
2020.
Prince Kamika, an attorney, prosecutor since December 2006. She has been an attorney and a prosecutor for 18.5 years.
More than
super qualified.
Wasn't? Can I say something? Wasn't he one of the prosecutors?
Hold on.
Can we hear the resume, please? Can we hear?
Go ahead.
She does not have. It seems like when they become prosecutor of the IC, them wipe them think. Lawrence had one, and them in a seat again. She does have her picture, and she does have attorney and she prosecutor.
Maybe, probably winner.
Well, let me find.
Remember that winner. He did a man.
Use of AI.
Remember that we found Stevenson one in our realize say he has never done anything in accounting or investigating.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
He was one of the prosecutor in the Dutch. Remember that Dutch Trafalgar scandal?
Oh,
he
yeah.
was the prosecutor for the Crown, which would have been PNP.
Which one of them, Marcia?
The Trafalgar.
The Trafalgar, yeah, he was Crown.
Okay.
He's a part of Trafalgar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me say this too.
Part of the Crown.
Let me say this too is that the PMP are so unwise. If I had to not look at it, the reason why my ears start tingling and why the ear at the back of my head stand up is when Angela Brownberg came out and made that claim about us. I read it in the Glee now. She used one specific term, so we are trying to end up like we're trying in the Lawrence show because he is qualified to do the work. The fact
Lawrence show.
Yeah, the fact that she says something.
Yeah.
And find offense to the procedure is alarming enough. So we have two.
Somebody background.
No, but remember, I dated. You see the letter that came from the PNP. It was written by
Junior. May I go borrow your box, Junior?
If you remember, you see people. You remember when the man them come out and say, people that get charged and people forgot to resign. You remember that?
Yeah.
But we are
let's
getting
have
if he's there, if he has been there since 2022, you know, it tie
Right.
back to when them start attack the Prime Minister about
Yeah.
IC and statutory declaration.
This is
Yeah,
a, this
no,
is a,
this
this
is
is a,
that
this is a
line.
straight up.
Rents.
This is a straight
The
up hit
last,
job.
the
Nobody
last
can tell nothing.
certification was when? The last certification was when? 2021, right?
2022, it was a part of the one that was investigated. So that been 2021 was the last statutory.
21. Yeah.
And
21 would have been the
in
last to be
2022 and
declared.
all of a sudden everything was
Wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and then when that's why I asked about we if repeat the year because it's 2022, 2023, 2024 are out.
And
And
did you know
if
that?
you
question-
bear, if
so
you
question,
remember
people.
from
Question for the floor. So when them supposed to renew this 2024? When we supposed to get the result on 2024?
it's
That come out
it's
already?
going to be on
My
hold.
boy,
It's going to be on hold
October,
because
September.
based on what every April 1st you submit. But for the Prime Minister,
March 31st is the deadline.
Yeah, March 31st. So you think you have until your April you have
No,
10-day grace period?
No, I don't know about the grace period, but it's supposed to submit by December 31st, but you have until March 31st
So-
to submit.
To
If I
submit
remember
it. So
clearly.
I would have so that up to my
One
go on
at
ahead,
a time,
go
one
on.
at a time, one at a time. No. Finish.
I
No.
was gonna ask if his Lawrence is gonna look through the PM.
Yes.
No.
And
this is
Yes, and this is what.
No.
Vaguely remember. This is what we did
Let's
say
clarify
last
that.
night. you know.
Hold on. Let's clarify that. No, him are the one with them find nothing. Them are go send it to. Cause when no swap, you know, I
He's
swap
the
them support
prosecutor.
Kamika, you know.
Right, right.
Them
No,
support
that's-
Kamika. So in other words, look what happened here, Sir Bridget. You see him now. Him have the power
Right.
to undo everything what she did do.
He can go back and review
Yes.
our rulings.
Right.
Yeah.
But when we not say he can go back, he can. But what
Him
I
can't
was
go now and
saying,
say, him can't go now and say him find reasonable cause to charge.
yeah, so the two
Right.
charges, remember it was two charges that she had ruling, sorry. It was two ruling that she had made for the Prime Minister, one with the contractor and the
Right.
other with the bank accounts.
So
So
me
he
never
can
know that. So all on the rent. So me never know that after a ruling is completed, somebody can go and unrule it.
yeah, because they must say you can't review. I
Different
don't know why.
perspective,
That's why I
different-
say
they
I-
can use.
can I ask a
they can
question
use
then?
different case
go on,
laws.
Marcia.
He can
But-
probably pull up a different case law to guide him.
No, but
Maybe.
you have to bring not only case law, but you have to bring evidence to show, she made a bad ruling. What are the new evidence? Because
Yeah, but that we
Well,
don't
that's-
know what he said
What I
behind it.
wanted to say,
Well-
what the declaration we're going to look at now, So he can say, okay, based on this one that was submitted, I am doing a ruling on this, not necessarily have to go back, because he knows
Exactly.
the detail of the case already.
But
of the
Chica,
previous-
but Chica, we have to remember everybody rules. And what me I talk about, why I say that is that his new statutory declaration, I think the ones that were in question was 22, 23, those two. 24 was held up because they're waiting, which the director of information said he went through it. He said he went through and confirmed
Right.
that he went through it.
But they
But the
haven't
thing is-
given any information on it.
No, they haven't. You just know
Right.
that he went through it.
So them
What
can
I'm-
come
what-
with something now and say. They can come with something now and say they find sitting there.
And no, but what I was about to get at, it would be difficult for you to do that because
They have
But
so they,
22 and 23 is still held up and it's before the court. So, and you need those information because it's information and that needs to be cleared or clarity because obviously there was misconception about something in it that would have
I'm
affected.
going to point something to you though, Renz. Remember this are one of the girls where Andrew Holness have with them, He must say to them, say, I want to reach way up here, so And
But
una not
you know,
settle.
because he wanted 2023
Yes.
when 2022,
20.
But
Yes.
no,
remember
when
saying
the year never finished as yet.
Right. So when me I say to you, is
Yeah.
Reg,
them can.
remember saying of Vegi that
Mhm.
the investigator, started to look into 2023
Thank you.
before even the
Yeah,
director of
so
information,
he wanted information from it, and then when 2023 come, because remember he was asking information from it, and he was like, "Why I want information from it, and you're not reach yet?" And then when he waited on that, they were asking, "How is it he gets possession of it when information didn't give it to him?" Because remember, and we have to remember this: corruption can't take up himself and go in the file unless investigation can go in a no file unless information.
And you know another thing, the PM I think they have a problem with Rent Girl. They were asking the PM like more than what they were supposed to. Yes, ask for. It's like they were
HR did I say something when
You
I
know,
finished,
there is a
Bridget?
thing. There is
Hold
a
on,
thing
Marcia.
called.
Hold
Hold
on.
on. HR did want to say
I
something.
could hear from here, please. Thanks.
HR, quick, yeah. Guru, your time.
Only folks. Only.
Guru.
I was just about to concur with Ren's girl that the guy, the director of corruption prosecution, can go back into the file because this is corruption is a criminal matter, and in criminal law you have something called discovery. So if evidence, and I use evidence in quotes,
Point him to.
right, he can reopen the file. So I was just concurring with Ren's girl.
Right.
Because
but-
it's not a closed matter. You understand? If it was a closed, like if it's a closed matter, like yeah.
But
isn't-
Vegas, hold on. When I listened to Shireen Golden, right? And she said once you submit a report in the parliament, it is finished.
Well, unfortunately, to burst your bubble, that is
But
not
that-
finished. That's why they made ask the TAJ
No.
and the sitting to get involved.
Can I say something now? But she made a ruling, and there's also a process.
Without prejudice, sister.
Hold on. There's also a doctrine called the abuse of process. So, what are they trying to do? You have to bring new evidence in order for you to go back to overturn her decision.
All right.
No,
So,
but the
Marcia,
ruling,
no,
Marcia,
hold on,
was
Ren.
based on two stuff. The ruling were based on the contractor issue from long time. 1 + 2, it was based on the bank accounts. She did not give any ruling to adjust that. They would have look into. Me find it hard to see how is it he is able or he will be able to counter what she said in relation to those because she wasn't wrong.
I want to add something for context so that we can understand something. So one of the contention with the IC law that the government has is that they are able to go back as far as ever, not because they started in 2017. They can start in 2017. This is why they were able to go back and say where Marissa did buy the vehicle. This is why they are able to go back and say, oh, the prime minister named the power account from him a baby, right? Or from he was a child. So there's no limitation.
There's no
in
limitation.
where they can go
Right,
back
but remember-
to.
And that
Because
is why I
hold
said,
on, please let me
Lashika,
finish. Let me
that the
finish,
IC
please.
Let them finish. What talk about each other? Hold on. Let
No,
them finish, please.
finish, man.
Yeah, but let us not interrupt because it's so noisy.
So sometimes when you do get this statutory declaration, all right, so everybody do things different. Everybody, especially as an auditor, right? Or you're looking over certain information, you're gonna pick up different things. So he might pick up something and him say, oh, me need to go back on this. And him go back probably 2 years ago. Him say, oh, but this came back 5 years ago. Oh, okay. It down another rabbit hole 10 years ago. So they are still able to go back, even though we had a contractor general in place before the integrity commission that would have probably signed off on a few things and stuff like that. They are still able to go And this was one of the problems.
Chica, the IC, it was not thought out properly, because in everything you must have limitation. Cause you can't just go back in like 15. Probably sometimes the persons that are being questioned don't even remember what at 50. I think it should be like 5 years and that's it. You understand?
You know, we know so them can't go back. Remember, so them have the man, them have pull up the man bank book from my pitney with the name.
Yeah, exactly. That's worse if they want to get at you. You
Right.
understand?
But in his case so far, there was a ruling on it. And if there was no ruling, she made a ruling to say there are no charges to be made. No, we didn't see the explanation. There must have been an explanation why she would have come to that, which we wouldn't see in public. But from once there's a ruling, they now have to bring new evidence to say why they have to go back. They can't just get up and say, yeah, from once, if there is no ruling, because remember when they went to the bank account from way back from cockroach days, because there was nothing on it. So that's
Miss Marcia, this integrity commission, they have no limit. They can go back, find him when my baby.
I know that's what I'm saying.
But protecting J, hold on, protecting J say there are limits. It is the people there now.
No, there are no
the Lord
limits
to do what they wanted to do.
No, there
That
are no
is what
limits.
protecting J.
There are no limits. They had a discussion in Parliament, and they told them that they can go back as far as possible. There are no limits. There's nothing.
But that no make
So
sense,
if all right, so
Rashida.
guys, if they could have, if there was a limit, if there was a limit,
So
Hold on, one person talk one time. Hold on.
if there was a limit, right, they couldn't have gone back this far in the Prime Minister business. When did Marissa buy the vehicle as well? So there's no limit. It was said in Parliament.
But there was no
There's
charge
no
from
limit.
Marissa before.
Guys, hold on. That is why it's important for us to watch Parliament. We as persons who talk daily needs to watch Parliament. It's important. We watch Oversight Committee, we watch other the Finance Committee. We need to watch them. The Integrity Commission has no limits. They can go back to when your mother had you in his womb. Had you in their womb, they can go back as far to see the one bank account.
But we not that not make no sense, because if you
don't make no sense.
hold on, me asking you something. Hold on, man. If you clear me 2018, 2017, and you clear me all of those years, how can you now go back and say, oh no, we did something wrong?
Miss Bridget, one second, Lashika.
That don't make no sense, Vega.
Miss Bridget.
Yo.
Let me break your bubble. Why you think them a dig?
Yeah, me.
And the
Why you
next
think
I
them a
wanted
dig?
to
The man
add
was
this,
certified, come right up.
Exactly. And
There's
all of a
nothing to
sudden,
dig.
you know, that
They've
makes
been
sense.
saying, Miss Marcia, Miss Bridget, what they must dig for?
Yes,
They
sir.
must say, just understand what's going
protecting.
on.
I'm getting there. I'm going to tell you why protecting.
Them at, yeah, go ahead, Lashika.
All right. So remember, say the contractor general back then say Mark Golden and Peter Bunting them got a sweetheart deal. Right or am I wrong?
Right.
Why you think Mark Golden wrap up everything in our trust? And I say, oh no,
Cut
nah,
to the
get
money.
to investigate nothing.
Hold on. I keep
And
and transfer to one and pick them name.
The man wrap up everything in our trust.
Not
and
even
say,
that like
oh no,
Lashika. The
Oh, no,
man
get.
help
One
right.
at a time.
And him actually craft them. They have to, Oh,
the man say, oh no, nah get. Fi go down in a filmy business.
Dark Knight is saying there's a thing called statute of limitation. What I think when I miss years of Dark Knight and Lashika, look when they can free up a box of Dark Knight and protecting JLP.
Lashika, me can come down now and I mix one of the
Bring up protecting and then bring up Dark Knight.
Yeah, man, you can take me down, Lashika.
I want to
Give that night my box. I'm sure.
Alright,
Rest up here, goody.
Let me
Yeah,
add
man,
something from
there's-
the Integrity Commission.
Can I ask this
Section
question?
9.
Well, Marcia, she's
A
speaking.
person shall not
I'm
become
speaking.
or continue to be a member of the commission if the person is suffering from a mental disorder within the meaning of Mental Health Act, becomes of unsound mind or becomes permanently unable to perform his function by reason of ill health, is under charge bankruptcy, meaning that you have financial issues, or have at any time been convicted of an offense, dishonesty, or moral turpitude. And it says moral turpitude is an act or behavior that gravely violates the sentiment or accepted standard of a community. Now, God forbid, Prince Kamika, had any of these violations. I don't think she would have had unsound mind or whatever, anything like that. We don't know. We don't know if she have any bankruptcy problem or if she had committed something in her personal life that violates any of these. If any of these actions took place while she was making her submission of no case to answer to or case to answer to, the new director of corruption prosecution can use these stands to go back and look at her previous her past what do you call it now? Judgments. Rulings or judgment. So any of these that they might find can open the question for whether or not they can go back and look at those
and to all them corrupt winner they can't find any one of them.
And can I ask this question too? Isn't there a doctrine called the abuse of process? Wouldn't that be a part of it too?
Miss Marcia, the Integrity Act itself, the 14 subsection 5, the way it is right now, the way it's written right now, violates anybody where it goes for constitutional rights.
14 subsection
right now.
And let me say this.
Let me say something.
Right, go on.
I'm talking the part about the illicit enrichment something. It's basically, and that's the reason why Andrew did that. Andrew was alluded to it in that thing.
When I use that, I'm talking about how she made a ruling. Yes, if they found that she was dereliction in her duties, then that's different. But what I'm saying, they can't just get up without she made a ruling on a specific case, right? And then they're gonna, because somebody new come in, they wanna just say, oh, we're gonna reopen the case. They have to be.
You know who the PMP is? You know who the PMP is?
Hold on, they have to be.
I don't think you know the creature that we're dealing with.
What can happen here? They have a doctrine called abuse of process, where a lawyer can just get up and says, I'm just gonna go back because of abusing the process. They have to be that because she made a ruling. Not in that rule.
Miss Marcia, do you know that we're dealing with a criminal organization?
As Winner said. Hold
on. Let's give her protecting on it.
Go on, protect.
As Winner said, good evening, people. Bless upon ourselves.
Bless up, Jack.
Blessings.
As Winner was asking if we know who PMP are. Remember, the plan was to force Andrew Holness's hand to call the election in May last year. Then, the PMP, by virtue of what they were putting out there and getting the public on their side, would be voted into power, and then all this mess and all the amendments that needs to be done to that act, all the mess would be cleaned up. They would have started the process already. As Winner was asking just now, we have to remember the PMP is the burn the house down party, burn the city down party, and rule over the ashes. Now, who remember the affidavit that was read out in the news that the Prime Minister brought the IC to court? One of the points was the abuse of clause in the act.
Correct, yeah.
And I believe, I don't remember correctly, no, we're not going to look, but I believe, if I remember clearly, that the judge said to him that some of it
in your phone and go protect it.
PMP Wi-Fi now. You have to wait till you clear your thing at check.
Break to one. The Paul jumping. Been.
Oh, Paul. All right.
Break to one. The Paul jumping.
Oh, Paul.
Me make a text look a while. May I say it would be a bad thing for have one of the legalistic mind within the parties to come and join the live and give a greater clarity, given that our knowledge on the law is at best layman. And this is what I think when we want the JLP party to unite around it, that when we have these type of live, we should have some means of linking up one of them and say, come on live and join us. We have some local great areas. We need better clarification on them and help us to better navigate the part that we are take, so that we are clear, so that when we speak thereafter, we are guided by facts and the better as we fact conversation. So it will be a bad idea if we can.
No, that is true. But in this case, though, not even them can go past which part we there, you know.
Yes.
You can remember say
too much.
Remember say right now as is, them don't know more than what we know based on what's in the public domain.
No, actually I get at Vegas is the fact that they are training the law in a very deep way. I mean, in a very big way.
No, me are saying but what we are saying is we don't reach that point there yet based on this conversation.
The integrity commission law, no, so I understand, you know, Paul.
Yeah, but
so protecting Jay. Yeah, go ahead, fam.
Yeah, Paul, it's a matter in a court. The party not gonna talk funny. We can't get nobody else in party to talk funny. It is
even the woman get it, even Kamika not there anymore. Nobody not gonna really. That's why you see them write letters. Yeah. And look how the letters them drafted, Paul. They're carefully drafted. That means it not look like, because remember saying it's a thin line, you know. Because once the Jamaica Labour Party overstep this line, this boundary, then it seems as if you're fighting against a body that is investigating corruption. Yes. So them can't really come out. It not look at the over. Yeah, they can't touch it.
I allude to that.
One second. Where's the part?
Live and go into the belly of legal matters. What we want them come online to
explain the IC law.
Help us to better understand how to understand how the law works out.
Paul, even I just threw the body and the on fire right now, Paul. Them feel like Paul, you want to see
anybody who speaks, who represents the JLP.
Let me just say something protecting, please. Let me just say something, please. You see, if, as Winner say, if you watch the committees, you will understand a lot of things. So it is important so you watch Parliament and the committees and them something. Sometimes my things are them boring, but you see the topics that are interesting to us. It is very important that you sit down and listen to what is going on, because them open your eyes, you know. Because this is how I learn a lot of things about what is going on. Because I sit down and watch them and I listen to them. So sometimes you just take the time out and go sit down and listen what is happening.
Yeah,
So we say 100 pick up.
What Mark Golden did back in last time when he got on the stage and him talk about say Andrew Holness know the illicit shit and him to call them because him know who them that was against the law, because it was against legislation in the court process. When I read last night, say any investigation that is ongoing or impending should not be adhering in a public space. We don't know exactly. I remember exactly.
No, them have a secrecy act, but here's the problem with that now. Pantan and Stevenson had two different interpretations of it. So it up in them put it in a dispute. The body, the Integrity Commission body, had two senior members interpreting a law.
Well, I was listening to the committee. It was the IC committee when they were asked. It was Pernell Charles Jr. asking about it.
Yeah.
Pantan and you know who is actually the bully. I was the bully there. Before at first when Pernell Charles Jr. asked, Christie said no one. Right. And Pernell Charles was like, repeat, no one. He said yes, based on what the act says, no one. I don't recall who it was then directed a question to Seymour Panton because Seymour Panton had made a statement in the public stating that the person who is being investigated can say
Somebody, pardon me. It was Robinson, I think, Renz.
yes, because they wanted to counter. And
Yeah,
Robinson ensured he asked Panton because Panton made his views known that he believed, and this is the words he used, his exact words was, he believed that if a person is being investigated and wish to make it public, they can. That was didn't whatever just say, and then he ensure that he stressed on it is his belief. He now use the Akino. It is his belief. When Pernell Charles Jr. went back and directed this question to Greg Christie got defensive and somewhat retracted on his previous sentiments and stated that the act is up for various interpretation. And
Yes.
they are the one who set it, and it is based on what we were thinking at the time. It is him start the all kind of excuse as to why is initial view no longer stand. One might say they were dealing in what group. There's a type of thinking where you change it through you hear everybody else's decision now. And it shows that Panton was single-handedly running the Integrity Commission 1-2. They were not following the act anymore. They are now putting their feelings
because Stevenson was caught in mid-ear, you know, because Stevenson gave a definite answer that when he said no.
And two.
He said no. And Stevenson said no.
They asked Stevenson. They didn't ask Stevenson pertaining to that. They asked Stevenson pertaining to the process of investigation and do with the file and whether or not there's an interim report. And Stevenson said no, not according to the act. And then I don't know what happened because me I remember my expression right now, my face clear. It's like Marlene Malahoo smirk, and he realized what he said. There is no such thing as interim report, and according to the act, there isn't any. The investigation is closed once it goes to Parliament. And it was after he said it, he then gave an excuse and said, oh, if you're talking pertaining to whatever case, I cannot speak about it because it's before the court. And she was like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking in general. I'm talking in general. So, I agree with Winner. A lot of us need to watch these committees because it's very eye-opening. One, you found out that whatever Panton says goes, even if it is you're following the law and you're saying, because at first Greg Christie was like, yes, that's what the act says, no one. When Panton come in and said it is my opinion, Panton didn't say it's based on the act. He said based on his opinion. Greg Christie was willing to stamp on the Integrity Commission Act so as to appease Greg Christie. And that type of thinking is called group thinking, guys. Group thinking. Where you they are no longer looking about, they are no longer thinking about you're no longer independent, you're going off exactly what the other person is saying. So first, Greg, before he heard Panton's stance, a reiteration and stance, he was working with the act. When he hear Panton's personal views, my opinion, he was now defensive and arguing as if the act is no longer clear. No, where are you going to tell me that the word no one is open to interpretation? How are you going to explain to me? No,
what
the
was
word
alarming?
no
What was alarming to me, Sirens? What was alarming to me? All these men are liars, right? All cannot come and sit at the table and come to one interpretation of the law, right? Of
But
each section of the
Shika,
law.
there is no interpretation needed for the word no
Yeah,
one.
but may I say, since they came with that position, why is it they never sit at a table and said this is what we are working with? If they are different interpretations.
But Shika, one of the main reasons that wasn't done is based on group thinking, where no, they were willing to sacrifice sound decision making and critical thinking for harmonizing and to ensure that there is conformity. So they were willing to not sit down and think.
Because
What?
they
Give
did
it
get
up.
away with murder.
They were willing to give up all of that for conformity to ensure that everyone is on the same page and to see cohesive. And Brennan Charles Jr.
They thought about it, Renz. This was premeditated breaking of the law. There are two things to pick up here, you know. Meditated breaking of the law. There are two things to pick up here, you know. And do this and get away with it. But here the next thing that they were expecting. They were expecting the Jamaican public to be fools to this. They didn't expect this, you know. They didn't expect this sort of backlash and uproar out in the public, you know. They didn't expect us to have conversations like we're having now because they see us as fools. And that's how the PMP are. And this shows you that these people are PMP by birth, by blood, and by heart. Birth, by blood, and by...
I really think that they should look into this clause where they are saying the chairman must be a judge. You know why there's a flaw? And remember, this person must be a senior judge, one of the top judges. And remember, Pantan was Chief Justice. This lady, she was showing to be Chief Justice. It was between her and Brian Sykes to get the job. Brian Sykes got it over her.
Yes.
One of the reasons I'm pointing this out, bear in mind, judges aren't used to be questioned. Judges aren't used to be questioned. Your decisions aren't used to be questioned.
So,
And this in itself,
don't put a chain of thought, but
Wait,
just to highlight this is that them no resort to no plan B. You know, if you notice, you know, them just stick to the same plan, even though the fact that the Prime Minister did not call the election as planned, as proposed. Them just stick to them agenda because everything tie in. Them call out the
Guys,
Prime Minister
stop up the screen.
Them call out the Prime Minister upon the illicit six. Them send them people go to New York and Canada for demonstrate where Mr. Vegas expose them. Pre-planned. Them still a go forward with it to this day.
and what I was getting at to the what I was saying about the flawed theory of, and I think you need to have chairpersons. It should be a body of individuals coming together, giving their different views, and not. And as me say, judges aren't used to be quizzed. Judges aren't used to be questioned. What they are basically like a law, a god within the courtroom.
When you say they're not used to being quizzed,
question.
Question. What do you mean? Break that down, please.
All right.
Their
You know, within a courtroom, whatever the judge says is final. The judge is the law within the courtroom, and no one questions nothing that the judge says. If the judge